Hello everyone. Today we will be doing the topic on permanent tissues. To understand permanent tissue, we have to understand characteristics of permanent tissue. In permanent tissues, cells have already lost the ability to divide. These cells are actually formed from meristems. Meristems modifies to form permanent tissue. So, it is modified from meristem. Meristems modify to form permanent tissue. Permanent tissues can be categorized as simple or complex. And in this type of tissue, cells may be either living or they may be dead. And the cell wall is seen to be either thick-walled or thin-walled. Apart from this, the wall thickening may be regular or irregular. To understand permanent tissue, we will see now how it has been classified. So, permanent tissue is broadly classified under two categories. First, simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent is further classified according to three types. Number 1, parenchyma. Number 2, collenchyma. Number 3, sclerenchyma. Complex, on the other hand, is further categorized into two types, xylem and phloem. Next, we will discuss the differentiation between meristematic and permanent tissue. In the previous presentation, we have discussed about all the characteristics of meristematic tissue. In this particular slide, we will talk about the difference between meristematic and permanent tissue. The points under which we will discuss the differentiation are as follows. Number 1, nature. Meristematic tissues are seen to be small and undifferentiated, whereas permanent tissue cells are seen to be larger and differentiated. Next, intercellular space. In meristematic tissues, there are no intercellular space seen in between the cells. In case of permanent tissue, intercellular spaces are present in them. If we take the point on vacuoles, in meristematic tissues, vacuoles are generally absent, whereas in permanent tissue, there are large vacuoles which are seen. With respect to cell wall, in meristematic tissue, cell wall are seen to be thin, whereas in permanent, they can be thin or thick. According to metabolism, meristematic tissues are seen to have high rate of metabolism, whereas in case of permanent tissue, the rate of metabolism is much more slower than meristematic. Next, with respect to function, meristems are seen to take part in growth and development, whereas permanent are seen to protect, support, and help in storage. Next, we will see an activity which can be performed. To perform this activity, we have to take a plant stem and with the help of your teacher, you have to cut it into very thin slices or sections. Then we have to stain the slide with saffronin and place one neatly cut section on a slide and then put a drop of glycerin. Finally, we will cover with a cover slip and observe the specimen under a microscope. We have to observe various types of cells and their arrangements, and we can see under the microscope figures like this. This one shows a schematic diagram or representation of the above figure. In the next slide, we will see again the cross section of the stem, and if we magnify this structure, we will see something like this, in which we will discuss all the relevant marked labels one by one. So the first one which we can see in the section of the cross section of the stem is that of cuticle. Cuticle is a waxy layer which helps to prevent excess loss of water by transpiration. Next, epidermis. Outermost layer of cell covering stem or root, leaf, flower, etc. So it is the outermost layers of cell of stem, root, leaves, flower, etc. And this particular layer of cells provide protection against mechanical injury, loss of water, and helps also in gaseous exchange. The next is cortex. Now, cortex is that tissue of cells that lies in between epidermis and the vascular tissue. This portion helps in transportation of materials by diffusion and also can store food in the form of starch. Next, phloem. Phloem is a type of vascular tissue that helps in transportation of soluble organic compounds that are made during photosynthesis, and these organic compounds are translocated from leaf to other parts of the plant. Next, xylem is another type of vascular tissue that helps in transportation of water from roots to aerial or upper parts of the plant. Vascular bundle, the last, represents both the types of tissues, for example, phloem and xylem. In the next slide, we will discuss about simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissues, in this particular type of tissue, cells are similar in structure, origin, and function. We have already seen the classification of simple permanent tissue. So we again go through the same point. Simple permanent can be classified under three categories. Number one, parenchyma, and you can see the structure given below. Next, collenchyma, and as you can see the structure. The last, sclerenchyma, again the figure is given below. We will discuss about collenchyma and sclerenchyma in the next slide presentation, but in this slide presentation we will discuss about parenchyma. To understand parenchyma, we again have to go through the characteristics of parenchyma. The first point is cells are oval or spherical. The cells are seen to have cell wall, those that are made up of cellulose. Central vacuole, and because of the presence of central vacuole, the cytoplasm is seen to be peripheral, which means the cytoplasm is seen to be present along with the boundary. So that helps to understand the peripheral type of cytoplasm. Next, presence of large intercellular space. So, in this figure, as we see parenchyma cells that are present, we can also clearly understand the gap region, the space region among the cells, in between the cells, and that particular space is known as the intercellular space, which is present in case of parenchyma. These type of cells are seen to be present in stem, root, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Apart from these structures, mesophyls of leaves in which chloroplasts are present, they contain parenchyma. So, mesophyls of leaf is containing chloroplast, and that is a type of parenchyma. In case of the mesophyll type of leaves, it is containing chloroplast. Mesophyll cells are parenchymatous cells which contain chloroplast, and that helps them to produce food by photosynthesis. Next, as you can see the structure here, these are also parenchyma cells, in which it shows the clear structure of the nucleus. In this picture, we can see a longitudinal section of parenchyma cells. We can see the cytoplasm, the nucleus in bluish color, middle lamella, which is dividing or which divides adjacent cell wall of two cells. Apart from that, chloroplast, which is a type of plastid that helps in formation of food by the process of photosynthesis. We can see the structure of vacuole also, like we have discussed in the slide in characteristics of parenchyma, where stated that parenchyma cells have central vacuole with peripheral cytoplasm. Here also it clearly explains about the peripheral cytoplasm. Then we can also see intercellular space and the presence of primary cell wall. Next, we will talk about functions of parenchyma. First, it helps in storage of food. So, these help in the storage of food material. Next, parenchyma of succulent organ helps in storage of water. Next, cells remain turgid and provide rigidity. So, because of the property that they can store water, it gives the cell turgidity as well as it provides rigidity to the cells. These type of cells help in exchange of gaseous component or gaseous material. Other than that, they can also help in storage of waste products like resin, gum, etc. Apart from this, parenchyma can also contain chloroplasts, and those type of parenchyma are known as chlorenchyma. The color which gives it green for leaves. And apart from that, it is also the seat of photosynthesis. Next, parenchyma contains large air cavities, and those type of parenchymas are known as aerenchyma. These type of parenchyma stores gaseous component and provides buoyancy. That means this property helps aquatic plants to float on water. This is the figure of Eichhornia crassipes, which is commonly known as water hyacinth. And these type of plants, aquatic plants, with the help of parenchyma helps to float on water. So now we will summarize all the points which we have discussed in this presentation. First, modified cells from meristems are permanent cells. The cells which have modified from meristems only undergo the formation of permanent tissue, and they have lost their ability to divide. Permanent tissue can be broadly classified into simple and complex. Simple permanent can be further classified into parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma cells are seen to be oval or spherical, and they are found almost in all the parts of the plant. Mesophyll of leaves is chloroplast containing parenchyma. With this, we come to the end of this presentation. Thank you, everyone.